Alright, ladies and gentlemen, do you see that? That's what we call a buttload of games. And that's a fan. So, do you know what you do when you have a buttload of games and you're on this YouTube channel? You make a pickups video. So, what strange, awesome gaming things have I bought in the past, few weeks? Well, unlike in the last episode, I actually bought shit instead of being sent things that I already own from the States. But that's alright. So to start off with, I went to a little pawn shop downtown that has this huge gaming section. When I mean huge, I mean literally half of this pawn shop is a game shop. And actually what's really cool is this guy who owns the place owns the shop next door, which is an old-fashioned video store. We're talking about a place that even has laser discs and stuff. And I'm saying the word like a lot. Catch myself, ladies and gentlemen. From there, for a very reasonable price, I forget exactly which, but I remember being very happy with it, I got Final Fight 1. And it's not focusing because that's just how my camera's being right now. Now, Final Fight 1 is a port remake type thing of the original Final Fight for, the arcades. Many of you who probably played Final Fight back in the day probably played the very neutered SNES version. And this fixes a lot of the problems with that one. For example, all 3 characters are playable. Actually, there's 2 unlockable characters as well on top of the original 3 characters. And, to make things even better, it is possible to do 2-player co-op. Yeah, on a Game Boy game. Which, you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? A Game Boy game that's not Pokemon, that requires the link cable. But speaking of the Game Boy, I also got this for, free from Epic Games and More in downtown Victoria. A Gameboy Cleaning Kit. It's not anything particularly special, but I didn't own it and it's always good to have these, so pick them up if you see them. But how did I get that for free? Because I bought a really cool game for the PS3. 3D Dot Game Heroes. Now, this is a game I've wanted for a while. I love my PS3, but since when I got it a few months ago, I only had a few games for it, and all of them are either God of War, Grand Theft Auto, or Gran Turismo. Yeah, a lot of G names. And I wanted something a bit different, something a bit more lighthearted. This game is Zelda in everything but name. I mean classic Zelda, and it does it exceptionally well. It's definitely a Zelda clone, but it does a lot of its own things. For example, you can create your own character using a very extensive character creator. Or you can choose from roughly 50 pre-made characters. My character in the game is actually a car. That's how ridiculous it is. And the game has a really good sense of humor as well. It's not afraid to poke fun at itself. So 3D Dot Game Heroes, buy it. Especially since it's already a pretty popular PS3 game and it's going up in price. I actually paid $30 for this, which more than I usually pay for a game, but this is a game I've really wanted and one I've been playing quite a bit. Now, as many of you know, I recently bought a Tandy 1000 SX computer, and I needed some PC games to play, and that's why I got this. This is called Kobayashi no Yahoo. I completely butchered that. Kobayashi Naru. Kobayashi, you know what I mean. And this is pretty much an old, just little, I want to say point and click type thing, but there's no mouse. This is before computers came standard with mouses. But yeah, it's a fun little adventure game, very text-based. But then, I got a game, which is pretty much one of the big reasons I wanted to get an old school gaming PC. Sylpheed. Sylpheed, as many PC collectors will tell you, is one of the best old school DOS games. It was one of the first games to heavily go into sound cards and whatnot, and is pretty much usable on any old PC, and not even the IBM compatibles. I mean, obviously, I have a Tandy, so it works on Tandy compatibles, but there are versions of this for the Apple II, Apple GS, Macintosh, even the Tandy Coco, and it was later actually, I guess, kind of remade for the Sega CD, which is the version I have previous experience with. And what do I think about it? It's a kick-ass arcade shooter. If you love old DOS games, you'll love Sylpheed. Speaking of PC games, I have some stuff that's a bit more modern, not much, moving from the late 80s to mid 90s. And I really want to get into Sega PC stuff, which is funny seeing as I don't really have much of a late 90s gaming PC at home. But hey, I can use like DOSBox or something, I'm sure. And I got Sonic CD. Why Sonic CD if I don't have a great way of playing it? Because Sonic CD is my favorite game of all time, and I try to find every version I can of it. I paid $5 for that, but I'm slightly regretting it. And why is that? Because I went to a thrift store and I found this for $5. This is the Sega Mega Pack for PC. And all the discs are in there, that I think it's missing some inserts or whatever. And you have the Sega Smash Packs Volume 1 and 2, which is 15 Genesis games right there. Then you have Crazy Taxi, which is honestly a butchered port, but hey, I have it. The Sonic and Knuckles collection, which is interesting because some of the music was changed. It's a port of Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and the combined Sonic 3 and Knuckles to the PC, but some of the music's a bit changed because of legal stuff with Michael Jackson. It has Virtual Fighter 2, I don't know anything about that. Sonic R, which is actually the same version that was later used for the Sonic Gems collection on the GameCube. And Sega Bass Fishing for those of you who actually enjoyed Big the Cat's gameplay in Sonic Adventure.
I must say Froggy!
But most importantly, it also comes with Sonic CD, which is disheartening. So anyways, that's it for today's episode of Gaming on the Run, and I will see you next time, ladies and gentlemen.
You might know everything I'm going to do, but that's not going to help you since I know everything you're going to do. Strange, isn't it?